Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. And hi everyone. So today is going to be our last session again. So we going to do two questions here from the past exam question in order for us to understand better for chapter 2, our chapter 2. So in this, so let us review back a few things that we have done before. In chapter 1, we went through the introduction to vibration, which is we went through on to understand the vibration classification, and we review back the simple harmonic motion, and then we look at the spring systems and damping system and mass systems. Okay, in chapter 2, we look at the single degree of freedom system, free vibrations, and then we have 4 steps in chapter 2, which is step 1 to determine or to sketch free body diagram, a free body diagram. And step 2, we select the Newton's law, which is based on the type of motion of the systems. And then for step 2, if you use the energy method, you need to identify the energy exists in the systems. Yeah. For step 3, for Newton's law, you apply step 1 and step 2. For energy methods, you should know on how to apply the energy equation. Yeah, the energy equation. And then step 4, we determine the response of the systems, or we call it as solution for the equation of motion. All right. And then from there, we have 4 cases for the response, which is under damped, which is undamped, over damped, and critical damped. Okay. And then we have another parameters in under damped system, which is we call it as logarithmic decrement. And remember, for under damped system, the frequency we call it as time natural frequency, and for the other type of systems, we call it as natural frequency. Okay, so that is all the parameters involved in chapter 2. So for chapter 3, basically we're going to deal with the force vibration. So please look at the video that I uploaded in the eFuture, and then please look at the notes that I uploaded in the eFuture e-notes. Yeah. All right. And if you have any question, you can post question in the iDiscuss session or section. You can post your question in the iDiscuss section, or you can text me the question, yeah, or you can email me, right? Or you can ask me during the live session like this one. Okay, so for today, we're going to discuss a few questions here for chapter 2, single degree of freedom systems. So everyone's clear with that? Let's jump straight to the question. Okay. All right then, so let's jump to the question. So just to check with you, can you see my screen right now? Can you see my screen? Siapa-siapa boleh put? Okay, thank you Muhammad Nafiq. Yeah, thank you very much. All right then, so let's go to the first question. Okay, so it's very short. So I cannot remember. I think this one is from December 2018. Yeah, let us look at this question together. Yeah, so for this question, a simple undamped spring mass system. So it's clearly right there. It is an undamped system, which is you only have the mass and spring in the system without damping, as shown as in the figure there, and then it's set into motion from rest. Yeah. So by giving it an initial displacement. Okay, sorry. So to make it vibrate, you should give the initial displacement to the systems, and then let it go. So it means that you give the initial disturbance to the systems. Okay, and then question number 1. All right, so normally the question will be arranged accordingly, or will be structured accordingly to help you answer it step by step. But if you follow the step that I taught you before, but if you follow the step that that you have been taught before, so you will answer everything here. You will answer all the question 1, 2, and 3. So let us look at the step that we have discussed it before. So step number 1, you should have the free body diagram. That is step number 1. Okay, right. So you have 2 circle, which is 2 pulleys. So we have a reference point O in the middle. Okay, so let's draw our force. Yeah, let's draw our force in the system. So you have 2 forces there. You have 2 forces in the systems. So let's draw it. So I just draw a line here. I just draw a line there. Okay, and then I draw another line here. I draw another line here, another line here, another line there. Okay. Okay, so you have two forces in the system from both springs, yeah. Okay, and this pulley is set into motion from this coordinate system, yeah, from this coordinate system. So you have this one. So you have okay. So this motion is in theta. The coordinate is theta coordinate system. All right. So let's say you have this system. You have this free body diagrams. Yeah? How we should draw, or how we should put the vector for these two forces. The direction of the vector for these two forces. All right. So if you look at this pulley here, it rotates clockwise directions. Yeah. So when this pulley rotates clockwise direction, the first spring up here, the 2K will experience, okay, the spring will experience tension. So when this spring experience tension, you draw, or you need to draw in the FBD as compression. So this part is fixed N, and the second spring there, this one, the second spring will experience tension as well. So you should draw this one as compression, okay, because in reality, or in effective motion, it experience tension, so you draw it as a compression force. Okay, so we have a fixed N here. Okay, so now we decide, or we represent the force for both springs. Yeah, so we know that for this force we have 2K here. For this force we have 2K. For this one we have K. But this is not force. Remember, you cannot put 2K and K in the FBD. You should present the force in the FBD. Yeah? So in order to make it as a force, whether you write it as 2KY, let's say we put a coordinate Y. So means that we have this coordinate Y. Let's say we put it as 2KY. But in this question, there is no Y coordinate. So we can represent this one as, we can represent this one as, So how we relate Y with the distance of Y? Okay, so for this one, so let's say we look at for this one, for the first one. So if we look at here carefully, okay, so it is basically the deflection, or the length of the spring. Okay, this is the Y. This is the stretch, the deflection of the spring, the displacement or the deflection of the spring. So this is the Y. So if we look at this triangle, so this is going to be theta. Okay, this is going to be theta, and then this is going to be your radius here, which is in this case is 2. Since we have two radius here, so you have, this is S R, and you have this one as 2R. Okay, so Y in this case is equal to 2R theta. But for the other case here, if you look at this particular displacement, so we know that it will deflect something like this. Sorry, draw it properly. Okay, so it will deflect like this. Oops, sorry. It will deflect like this. Okay, so in this case, this is your new Y, this is your theta, and then this is your R in this case. So for this case, Y is equal to R theta. All right. So in order for us to represent this one, we can represent it as 2K multiplied by R theta, or we can represent this one as K multiplied by 2R theta. Either one. Okay. So now this is our free body diagram for the given systems. Okay. So this already answered the question number 1. So this step already answered the question number 1. Right. So for step number 2, let's go to the step number 2. Step number 2. Okay. So what is the step number 2? So we have Newton's second law. So we should have the Newton's second law for step number 2. So in this case, since it is rotating about point O here, okay, so we should have the Newton's second law as summation of moment is equal to I theta double dot. So step number 3, okay, applying step 1 and step 2, so we should have summation of moment is equal to I theta double dot, which is in this case, positive direction is clockwise direction since the pulley rotate clockwise directions, and then the moment of inertia will be about an axis passing through point O. So the moment is about point O, about the fixed point here, yeah? About point O, the fixed point is there, okay? About this fixed point, yeah? Color, one, okay, over there. All right, so let's apply the forces. So again, just not to confuse you all, okay, let's delete this part, let's delete this part because this part is not important in our analysis. Okay, so that is the FPD. So how to apply the moments in the equation? So we take the moments about point O here, so we have two forces there. So either you use minus, okay, why minus? Because this force, the lower one, the on the left hand side one, will rotate clockwise, counterclockwise direction. So minus K multiplied by Y multiplied by 2R minus 2K multiplied by Y multiplied by R, okay, is going to be equal to I naught theta double dot. Okay, or we can represent it using the blue color there. So we have minus K multiplied by 2R theta multiplied by 2R minus 2K multiplied by R theta multiplied by R is equal to I naught theta double dot. So since we want to maintain in only one coordinate system, so we use the theta coordinate systems as our representation. So from here, we rearrange this equation as I naught theta double dot plus, okay, so you have here as 4K R squared theta plus 2K R squared theta is equal to 0. So rearrange further, we have I naught theta double dot plus 6K R squared theta, okay, is equal to 0, right? So from here, we know that this is our, let's use the black color, M equivalent. This is our K equivalent, okay? So the second question here asks you to obtain the equation of motion of the system using theta as the generalized coordinate systems. So this is our answer for question 2. Equation of motion using theta as the generalized coordinate system. Okay, so for question 3, find the natural frequency of the system. So we have two ways to determine the natural frequency here. Whether, okay, the first one, whether we use the formula straight away, is equal to sert K equivalent divided by M equivalent, which is in this case is equal to 6K R squared divided by I naught. Okay, 6K R squared divided by I naught. Okay, all right. So or we can use this one. We can use our plus 2 zeta omega n x dot plus omega n square x is equal to 0. We can use our parametric equation and we can compare it with theta double dot plus 6K R squared divided by I naught theta. Oh, this one is not double dot. This one is not double dot. Sorry, theta, okay, is equal to 0. Okay, so what we can do here, so you can see here, this is 1, this is 1. So compare this one and this one, and then you can compare this one and this one. So we can compare these two. Since x dot, since theta dot is not exist in the equation, so we disregard the x dot terms, yeah. So if we compare both, so we get that omega n squared is equal to 6K R squared divided by I naught. Okay, in this case is divided by I naught. So if we delete this part, then we can add set over there. You get the same one here, yeah. Either one, it's up to you. So let's substitute the value. So you get omega n is equal to, okay, equal to, what is 6 in this case? 6K. Okay. I is equal to, given I is equal to 1.5 R 0.1 K 200. So 6 multiplied by 200 multiplied by 0.1 square divided by what is I? By I in this case 1.5, yeah, 1.5. So divide by 1.5, and you should get the answer here for this question. Okay. All right. So that is the first question. Yeah, that is the first question for today. Any question, guys, for the first question? Any question for the first one?
Saya.
Yeah.
Boleh tengok balik tak tadi yang part substitute yang y equal to r theta?
Y is equal to 2r theta. Okay. Which one? Okay. And yeah. This one. Yes.
Yang bawah sikit je, bawah sikit.
Bawah sikit. Oh, sorry.
Minta tolong tengok keseluruhan boleh tak? Nak screenshot je.
Tak screenshot tak apa, nanti saya share video ni, don't worry.
Yang dekat bawah tu.
Which one? This one, yeah?
Negative k, negative ky to r minus.
This one, yeah. This one, yeah?
Yep.
This one, yeah? Okay.
Zero tu.
Okay.
Yep. 2k, y tu bukan tu r theta ke saya? Kenapa saya letak r theta?
2ky, dekat 2ky is r theta. It's not 2r theta. This is different y, eh? This is different y. Ini spring, the first spring here, the distance is r. Okay, ni tengok daripada gambar ni, spring ni, distance dia adalah r kat sini. This spring, distance dia adalah 2r. So, kalau kita ambil dia punya pemanjangan macam saya kata tadi, so saya delete balik. Okay. So, macam saya cerita tadi, the first one. So, kalau kita ambil the deflection ataupun the displacement of this spring here, you akan nampak macam ni. So, ini spring tu memanjang ke bawah. Okay, macam yang ini This is the spring tu punya pemanjangan. So, panjang dia dekat sini adalah 2R. So, this is, okay, so this panjang dia, saya dah lukis tadi kat sini. Saya dah masukkan ke dalam pula. Okay, so tak apa. So, panjang dia saya lukis balik lah. Saya lukis balik. Okay, so okay, saya lukis balik. So, panjang dia dekat sini adalah ni you bayangkan dia memanjang. So, kalau kat sini 2R, sini 2R, kat sini must be is equal to y untuk spring yang k sahaja. So, this is the theta, the angle theta. Okay, similar oh sorry, saya kena lukis ikut kedudukan sebenar lah saya rasa. Saya lukis kedudukan sebenar lah senang. Sorry Okay, so kedudukan sebenar dia macam ni. Sebenar dia akan jadi, sebab dia akan naik ke atas. So, bila dia naik ke atas, dia akan jadi macam ni. Okay, Allah Akbar. Okay. Alamak, kenapa segitiga teruk sangat ni? Aduh. Tangan dah goyang dah. Okay. So, spring tu akan intention. So, apa yang dia buat, dia akan memanjang dengan y. So, kat sini panjang dia adalah 2r. So, this is the angle theta. Okay. So, kalau kita cari y, dulu saya dah cerita banyak kali dah. This y is equal to 2r theta. Alright. Tapi untuk spring yang satu lagi kat sini, dia memanjang ke bawah. Spring satu lagi, dia akan memanjang macam ni. Spring kat sini tengah ni, dia akan memanjang ke bawah macam tu. Alamak. Sorry. Okay. So, yang ini dia akan memanjang ke bawah. Saya pakai kali hijau dengan Y. Spring yang 2K. So, kat sini panjang dia R, bukan 2R. So, angle dia theta kat sini. So, Y ni is equal to R theta. So, that's why bila saya derive, yang dekat tempat 2K, panjang dia, Y dia is R theta. Ini yang green color saya pakai tadi. This one is the green color. Okay. Yang the first one tu saya pakai color hitam. Macam tu. Okay, so Y ni adalah R theta. This Y adalah 2R theta. It's two different things over there. That's why dia jadi macam tu. Okay. Siapa yang nak snap? Snap dah. Lama tak nampak dah. Boleh snap ke? Tu ha. Okey. Saya akan letak juga benda ni nanti dekat you punya notes saya akan letak nanti dekat notes. Don't worry. Alright, ada question lain nak tanya? Ada? Nak tanya yang lain? Okay. Mini spring dalam compression is no. Spring at the beginning dia akan jadi intention sebab pulley rotate clockwise. Bila pulley rotate clockwise dia akan tarik kedua-dua spring. So spring intention. So bila spring intention you draw FBD in compression. Okay. So you kena tengok kedua-dua spring tu macam mana dia berlaku apabila dia in motion. Alright. Betul. Erwan Izzuddin, saya dah lukis buat atas grid tu. Okay. Ada question lain nak tanya? Any other question? So tolong tulis nama bagi yang baru masuk, tulis nama penuh Okay, no question, then we continue dengan the second example from the final exam. Okay, so let us look at this second example here. So let's read the question carefully here. Consider a single degree of freedom system. So we have a single degree of freedom systems equation which is represented as, so the equation is given in this case, mx double dot plus cx dot plus kx is equal to 0. Where m, c and k are the equivalent mass, equivalent damping and equivalent stiffness. So you have three equivalent elements there. So means that our systems now is a damped systems. So under equilibrium condition, so be careful with this sentence. Under equilibrium condition, be careful with this sentence. Okay, means that at equilibrium condition, the spring is compressed by its own weight by 0.075 meter. Means that there is a static equilibrium condition. Okay, so at static equilibrium condition, the spring is compressed by the weight of the block or the mass. And the deflection at this condition is 0.075 meter. And the system is designed to operate with damping ratio of zeta is equal to 0.9. That is an undamped condition. So it is given in this question that the system is underdamped systems with zeta value 0.9. So if the total mass of the systems M is 1,000 kilogram, right? So the first question, calculate the equivalent stiffness value of the system. So for this question, you don't need to derive the equation of motion anymore because the equation of motion is given. Okay, so you can use the equations, the formula straight away to solve these problems. Very straightforward. So calculate the equivalent stiffness value of the system. So what is the stiffness in the system? So you can use the information from from equilibrium conditions there. So we know that at equilibrium condition, so we know that for question 1, at equilibrium, so let's move condition. Okay, as we derived it before, we know that mg is going to be equal to k delta. If you still remember, at equilibrium condition, mg is going to be equal to k delta. So for this case, in order for us to determine the k equivalent, you can use this formula to get the answer. So if we substitute there, what is the mass in this case? So you have 1,000 multiplied by 9.81 divided by the delta in this case given in this question, which is 0.075. So 0.075 meter. So make sure the unit is similar. And then from here, what is the answer? So let me put the calculator. So you get 9810 divided by 9810 divided by 0.075. So you get 130,800. So you get 130,800 Newton per meter. That is the answer for K equivalent. So this will answer our question 1 straight away. Okay. Question 2, calculate the equivalent damping value. So for question 2, this is quite straightforward. So we know that the damping equation is equal to C equivalent divided by 2 M equivalent omega N, or we can use C equivalent divided by 2 third K equivalent dot M equivalent. Sorry, let me write it properly. Okay, M equivalent. Okay, or we can write this one as C equivalent divided by CC. This is the equation that we derived it before. So in order for us to use this equation, we should look at the parameters. What parameters that we have in this problem? So since we have the K equivalent in this case, we have the M equivalent in this case, and C equivalent in this case. Okay, so we can determine, we have the zeta value in this case, so we can determine the equivalent damping value. So what is the equivalent damping value? So C equivalent is going to be equal to zeta dot 2 third K equivalent dot M equivalent. Okay, so let's substitute all the values. So zeta in this case is 0.9 multiplied by 2 third. K equivalent in this case is 130 800 multiplied by M equivalent in this case is 1000. So what is the value there? Okay. The value. So let's calculate this one together. So we get 130,800 multiplied by 1000. The answer multiplied by 2 multiplied by 0. So you get 20,586. Yeah? So you get 20,800. 500 and 86. Let's put 1.2. So the unit is going to be Newton second per meter. That is the unit. Okay, that is the unit. So that is the answer for question 2 here. Okay, the equivalent damping. So that is the answer for question 2. The question 3. Okay, for question 3. So if a mass of 300 kg is added to the system, so on top of 1000 kg, you have another 300 kg mass added to the system. So what is the new damping ratio? So in this question, so if a new mass of 300 kg added to the system. Okay, means that our mass now, M equivalent now, is equal to 1,300 kilogram. Okay, that is our M equivalent now. So new M. So the question asks you to determine the zeta value. So what is the zeta value here? Okay, so from this equation, we can use either one. So let's use the second one. So we know that zeta is equal to C equivalent divided by 2 third K equivalent dot M equivalent. Alright, so from here, if we substitute the C equivalent that we calculated before, so you have 20,586.2 divided by 2 multiplied by, what is the new K? The K before this, 130, 800 multiplied by the new M, which is 1,300. So you should get the answer here as, let's calculate it together. So you 130, 800 multiplied by 1300. Answer, so multiplied by 2. So 25 86.2 divide by answer. So you get 0.79. So the answer is 0.7894. Okay, that is the answer for zeta. Okay, so that is the answer for zeta here. So from this question, so the question asks you to discuss the result. So the question asks you to discuss the result. So what you can see from these two here, okay, what you can see from these two. At the beginning, at 1000 kilogram, you have the damping ratio with 0.9, but at 1300 kilogram, you have the damping ratio at 0.7894. So what you can discuss from there, so to discuss it, I put this particular plot. So when you increase the mass to the systems, the damping ratio will decrease. That is the first discussion. So if the damping ratio decrease, means that the time to decay is going to be increased. The time to decay means that to go back or to diminish or to return back to the equilibrium position will be increased. Okay, so if you can see here, if the zeta, the best is zeta, the best is zeta is equal to 1. That is the best damping value, where the decay or the system will return to equilibrium position the fastest. The fastest system that the fastest condition that the system will return to equilibrium position. But when you increase the zeta value, the system will experience overdamp systems. Okay, there is no vibration in the system. But it will take a longer time as compared to critically damped system to return back to equilibrium position. So you can see here, it will take a longer time to return to the equilibrium position. But if you decrease the zeta less than 1, the system will start to oscillate. The system will start to oscillate, and the more you decrease the zeta, the more the system will oscillate. Okay, so the amplitude will be a bit higher. So if the zeta is reduced, or for this case the zeta is reduced, then the amplitude will be a bit higher, and then the time for the system to return to the equilibrium position will be longer. That's the discussion that you can put in this particular question. Okay, any more question, guys, for this particular example? Any more question?
Sir,
Yeah.
yang soalan 3 tu kan,
Okay.
dia tak payah cari baru kan?
Kita tak payah. Dia bagi condition, dia tambah mass sahaja. So mass equivalent sahaja yang berubah. Kecuali dia bagi condition K equivalent berubah sekali. If the K equivalent pun changing, then you kena tukar. Kalau dia bagi condition C equivalent changing, pun tukar. Tapi condition yang dia bagi dekat sini adalah mass sahaja. If a new mass added to the systems. So hanya mass sahaja. Jadi mass equivalent sahaja yang berubah in the system. Okay. Ada question? Question lain? Tak ada Okay, so since saya lupa nak bagi tahu kelas yang tadi, saya akan tunjuk kat kelas you. Nanti video tu saya akan upload, so hopefully both kelas akan tengok. Saya nak share sedikit pasal moment of inertia. Yang mana saya rasa ramai yang dah lupa kot pasal moment of inertia. Bukannya tak pernah belajar tapi dah lupa. Okay, so thank you very much. 79 dah ada yang kira. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's share a bit on the moment of inertia. Okay, so alright, now so let's look at the mass moment of inertia in our systems. So normally when we deal with mechanical system for translation system or rotational systems or a combination of both motion, so normally you will have a mass moment of inertia in the equations. You will have I or you will have J in the systems. So sometimes the mass moment of inertia will be given to you in the final exam question as what we did before, but sometimes the mass moment of inertia need to be determined. So you have to calculate the mass moment of inertia. So you need to know the basic mass moment of inertia for rectangular. You need to know the basic mass moment of inertia for circular. And then you need to know the basic mass moment of inertia for rectangular. Okay, so All this mass moment of inertia, you can get it online in the website. You can get the formula in the website, or you need to determine the mass moment of inertia for the beam, for the beam, like this one. So if let's say you have this axis there, so what is the mass moment? So this is x, this is y. So if you still remember, we normally put normal mass moment of inertia is at about point O. Okay, so because point O is the fixed point of the systems, or point O is the instantaneous center of rotation point of the systems. So sometimes you need to use parallel axis theorems, parallel axis theorem, in order for you to determine the mass moment of inertia. So what is this parallel axis theorem? So in order for us to determine mass moment of inertia about point O, for example, we need to know the mass moment of inertia at about the center of mass of the systems, and then plus some factor to transfer or to move the mass moment of inertia from this axis to this, from this axis to the axis. So let's delete this one. This is not vector. Okay, so plus m multiplied by, normally I use d as a symbol, md square. Okay, so how to do this one? If let's say you have a rod like this, you have a rod like this. Oops, sorry. Okay, you have a rod something like this. This is the rod. Okay, and then we know that this is the IG. This is the IG of the system over there. And then we have this particular point O here. So when we take the Newton's law, we take the moments about point O, and then the I also about point O. So in order for us to determine I in this case, this I is about this axis, not about IG. So how to determine that one? So I naught is equal to IG plus MD square. Alright. So what is IG for the bar or for the beam? It is basically given in the formula. It's not given to you in the final exam, but you need to know it by now because you have learned it before. So that is 1/12 m multiplied by L square plus m multiplied by, so this is the distance from here to here. Distance from here, sorry, I put this one. Distance from here to here is L/2. Distance from here to here is L/2. So we know that the distance is L/2 square. So when we solve this one, you get this is L square over 4. So 4 multiplied by 3, so 1/3 mL square. So when you look at the formula inside the books, so be careful with the axis given by the formula. Okay, so sometimes in the books, in the book, the formula will be right like this. Means that at this particular location, sometimes it will be represented like this one, which is at this position, at that position. Okay, so be careful with moment of inertia. Okay, so for example, like rotating without slipping, rotating without slipping. So we have moment of inertia about that one. So this is point O. So let's say this is point D. So we know that when we do the moment, we take the moments about point D is equal to ID theta double dot. Okay, so in this case, ID will be equal to I bar about CG, about G plus MD square. Okay, so what is I bar about G for the circle? That is 1/2 mr square plus m multiplied by the distance from here to here. So that is the radius. Okay, so let's say we put the radius as r. So multiplied by r square. Okay, then you get this is 3/2 mr square. So that is I about D. Okay, so this I is about this position. And then this I here is about that position. So it's different, be careful. Okay, so later on, we will use the mass moment of inertia to answer the question. So be careful when you use the mass moment of inertia to answer the problems. Okay. Okay guys, any other question? So again, please write your full names. Please write your full names. So kalau zeta is equal to 1, semua nanti dalam keadaan equilibrium. No. Zeta is equal to 1 means that the system will be a critically damped system, under critically damped condition. So bila dia critically damped condition, that is the best system, means that bila ayat mudah dia, bila you lalu dekat Bonggol, bawa kereta, sistem dia critically damped, you lalu kereta dekat Bonggol, you tak sempat nak vibrate pun, dia terus diminish dia punya amplitude oscillation dalam masa yang singkat. That is critically damped. Kalau you pakai over damped, you lalu dekat Bonggol, dia diminish juga, tapi you tak ada oscillation, tapi dia lambat sikit, dia lambat sikit untuk habis dia punya amplitude of vibration. Tapi kalau you buat under damped ataupun undamped, you naik Bonggol, dia akan start ada sedikit vibration. And then bergantung kepada damping lah. Kalau dia damping bagus, vibration dia sikit. Kalau damping dia kurang bagus, vibration dia banyak, and dia akan ambil masa yang banyak untuk dia stop. Kalau you pakai undamped yang tak ada damping, you langgar Bonggol, kalau lah dalam vacuum, tak ada air drag, tak ada air friction, sampai ke sudah you tak berhenti vibrate dia. That is the meaning by the systems. Okay? Muhammad Amirul Ashraf. Okay. Alright. Any other question? Any other question nak tanya? So kalau tak ada question, please write your full name and then kita end our session, yeah. So thank you very much everyone. So let's meet again later on for live session like this, and don't forget to look at the video in the future platform. So thank you very much. See you again. Okay. So pendek kata, kejap ada yang tanya, saya tengok balik. Okay, thank you very much. No problem. Welcome everyone. So sir, pendek kata lagi tinggi zeta lagi bagus silakan untuk buat kompresen. Lagi tinggi zeta bukan lagi bagus. Lagi tinggi zeta dia akan jadi overdamp. Cuma dia tak vibrate, cuma dia akan ambil masa untuk dia achieve ataupun kembali ke equilibrium position. So dia tak semestinya tinggi zeta bagus, tak semestinya juga. Dia akan ambil masa lagi lama. So yang terbaik adalah zeta is equal to 1. That is the best. Zeta is equal to 1 the best. Selamat Hari Raya. Thank you very much. Yes. Alright, so kalau kita tengok siapa yang masih lagi tak faham tadi, so kalau kita tengok example nombor 4, kita tengok plot yang saya letak dekat sini. Okay, plot yang saya letak dekat bawah ni. Oh, sorry. So this plot, okay. So let's see. Yang color biru ni, bila you increase zeta, nanti line dia akan jadi macam ni line dia akan tambah lagi kat bawah ni oh sorry, tak betul sangat tu. Dia kena lagi jauh. Oops. Saya pun dah tak ada pening dah. So bila you tambah lagi zeta, line dia akan bertambah lagi. Macam tu. Tambah lagi, dia akan bertambah lagi. So dia tak ada vibration, tapi dia ambil masa nak balik ke equilibrium position here. Dia ambil masa. Okay. That is the meaning by amplitude dia low, tapi dia bertambah in terms of time to go back to equilibrium position. Okay. Alright. Lama, ada yang nak masuk lagi. So kena refer balik. Okay. Alright. Okay. So kena refer balik. Yeah. Kena tengok balik zeta value. That's good. Yeah. Okay. Alright. So tolong baca buku, cari buku online PDF. Tolong tengok nota saya. Tolong tengok nota lecturer lain. Tolong tengok video saya. And then tolong buatlah tutorial, activity saya. And then bila tak ada faham apa-apa macam ni lah, tanya question ataupun post question dekat discussion. I discuss. No problems. Okay. So thank you very much everyone. See you again. Selamat buka puasa bagi yang Muslim yang berpuasa. Selamat Hari Raya. And of course you kena alert dengan online dan sentiasa alert dengan WhatsApp lah. Saya akan update apa-apa kat situ. Okay. Thank you very much. Bye-bye now.